You don't need to understand everything right now. If you're here, listening, there's a good chance something in you feels worn down. Not in a dramatic way, more like a quiet depletion. You wake up tired, even when you've slept. You move through the day on autopilot, and somewhere underneath it all, there's a sense that you're running on something that's almost empty. You might call it stress, or distraction, or lack of motivation. You might tell yourself you just need a break, or more discipline, or a better routine. But what you're feeling has a name, and it's more ordinary than you've been led to believe. Burnout isn't a breakdown. It's a slow drain. It happens when effort keeps going, but recovery doesn't. When responsibility stacks up, but relief never quite arrives. When you keep responding to what's asked of you, even as your inner resources get thinner. And because it happens gradually, you don't always notice it at first. You adapt. You push a little more. You lower your expectations of how things should feel. You normalize being tired, distracted, slightly numb, until one day, even simple things feel heavy. This isn't a personal failure. It's a nervous system response. Your system is designed to help you survive periods of high demand. It mobilizes energy. It prioritizes what's urgent. It keeps you moving. But it was never meant to stay in that state indefinitely. When stress becomes constant, the system doesn't stay activate. It gets exhausted. Energy drops. Motivation fades. Focus becomes unreliable, not because you don't care, but because your system is trying to protect what's left. That's why burnout can feel confusing. You still want things. You still have goals. But the drive to move toward them feels distant, almost inaccessible. You might judge yourself for this. You might think you've lost something essential. Your edge, your ambition, your discipline. But nothing is missing. What's happening is simpler than that. When the nervous system senses there's no end to demand, it shifts into conservation mode. It slows you down. It limits output. It makes rest feel unproductive and effort feel overwhelming. This is not laziness. It's self-preservation, avoidance, procrastination, zoning out. These are not signs that you're broken. They're signals that the system is overextended. And the more you fight those signals, the louder they get. In environments that reward constant availability and quiet, endurance burnout often comes with shame. You tell yourself you should be able to handle this, that other people are managing, that something must be wrong with you. But burnout isn't about weakness. It's about exposure. Exposure to pressure, to expectations, to the sense that stopping isn't allowed. When you understand that, something softens. You don't have to keep blaming yourself for how your energy shows up. You don't have to keep proving that you're capable by pushing past your limits. There's relief in naming what's actually happening, because once you stop interpreting burnout as a flaw, it stops defining you. You are not unmotivated. You are overloaded. You are not behind. You are tired. And tired systems don't need lectures. They need safety. When pressure eases, even slightly, the system begins to reset. Thoughts become clearer. Emotions feel less blunted. The sense of being stuck loosens. This isn't about doing less forever. It's about allowing recovery to catch up with effort. Your capacity isn't gone. It's waiting for conditions that don't require constant self-override. And you're allowed to create those conditions. You're allowed to respect the signals your body and mind are sending. You're allowed to take your own experience seriously. You're allowed to move at a pace that doesn't cost you yourself. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling this way. Burnout is not who you are. It's something that happened while you were trying to keep going. And even now, as you sit with this understanding, something important is happening. The pressure to explain yourself begins to lift. The urgency to fix everything starts to quiet. And in that quiet, there's space. Space to breathe. Space to feel. Space to trust that your system knows how to recover when it's no longer being pushed. You don't need to rush this. You don't need to turn this into action. Just let the recognition settle. You're not failing. You're responding. And that response makes sense.